Pick a card. What do people assume based on your aesthetics? Here are your options. I'll see you at your reading. Hi, pile number one. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number one, I'm going to go ahead and ring the bell in 3, 2, 1 for additional good juju. And today, pile number one, we are looking at what do people think about? What do they think you're like according to your aesthetics? So it's just a prejudgment. It doesn't have to be true. Keep in mind that all this information is simply from other people's point of view. Pile number one, what do people think you're like when they see or observe you? We have Temperance. We have Queen of Pentacles. We have Three of Cups. And we have Two of Pentacles. So first of all, I want to give you the channel messages I got on the image, right? On the right-hand side of the screen. So initially, I feel like people think that you're a little bit removed, a little bit standoffish. You keep people at arm's length, that it might be difficult to crack the code of pile number one. Based on the image that you chose, pile number one, I feel like they can look at you and you could be listening to an inner dialogue. And you could maybe kind of block out the world according to whatever it is that you're listening to, or you're listening to your, I want to say your guides. I feel like they think that when people look at you and observe you, just based on your appearance, based on image and your mannerisms, I feel like people think that maybe you're thinking about the past a little bit and you're digesting things. And that you have a little bit of a RBF face or do not disturb. Now, again, this doesn't have to be the real thing, but this is just perception. So pile number one, we opened up with Temperance right here. And it's quite evident to me that people see that you've achieved a measure of balance in your life. And therefore they assume, right? Because we have the Two of Pentacles right here. That could be a little bit destabilizing or a little bit of a juggling act, that kind of a thing, that you've been able to like master and conquer after much terrain, much hardship, much effort. You've been able to like stabilize yourself so that you're not necessarily kind of like blown about by the wind one way or the other, that kind of a thing. This also could allude to overindulgence of any kind. So it could be substance abuse, or it could be overgiving, overloving, that kind of a thing, just if you do anything in excess. And I feel like there's an element of you that is, it feels very real, very tangible, and it's very compelling. I feel also that when people are observing you, just based on your aesthetics and mannerisms, once again, is that people actually want to come up and have maybe a cup of coffee, or they wonder if you're actually a little bit witchy. Are you looking into your coffee or tea that you're sipping? Are you decoding things? Can you decode things for them? That kind of a thing. Pile number one, we have the Queen of Pentacles right here. And with the Queen of Pentacles, people naturally just assume that you are well taken care of. But I feel like this is more about you taking care of yourself. I don't feel like it's the vibes of like, I'm a kept man or a kept woman or whatever the case is. I do feel like people just naturally assume that you have the wherewithal, that you have, that maybe you're a little bit bougie, under control. I feel like also you make appearances in a very controlled manner, like you're not all over the place, all over town, doing this and that and the other. So when there is a pile number one sighting, people do get excited, right? And we have with the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is very down to earth. People want to come towards you. Animals love you automatically, immediately. And you have like an earthiness about you. And yet you feel a little bit untouchable. So it's a little bit confusing for people, but definitely a lot of allure. Now, Pile number 1, we also got the 3 of Cups. And this is about like a good time. This is about reuniting because it feels so good. That was horrible, sorry. But I'm looking at this and this gives me like celebration, party, happy hours, having lunch, checking out different sushi places as a group, that kind of a thing. And so maybe also who's looking at you, I heard incognito, but maybe, who knows, maybe they have their browser incognito because they can't be caught looking at you, is somebody from the past who would like to reunite. So we have the 2 of Pentacles right here, and it's very evident to me that people know that you are masterful, that you are very skillful, that you can juggle. They've seen you do it, even if this is just somebody in passing, somebody at your work. You know, we could be multitasking at work, juggling different things. People are asking us questions, we're answering, we're typing, that kind of a thing. So I feel like when you get in the zone, you get very, very focused, and people see that about you, that you are someone who focuses. You kind of rivet your attention on things. Whatever has your attention has your attention, and that's what people are feeling from you. Let's see a little bit more. Pile number 1, this is my second channel, and I thank you so much for being here, for commenting, subscribing, giving suggestions, all that fun stuff. My first channel is called PsychicMD, where I do have over 700 videos for you to peruse. Also, I do have a September 2024 giveaway if you'd like to enter in each one. That's totally up to you. You can find that in the community tab. So, show me more. Confession. Oh, meow. Okay. Releasing a secret, pursuing virtue through honesty. Now, initially when I first saw this, pile number 1, I feel like you're that person that people want to confess everything to. I feel like you are a natural confidant, or you appear to be able to take people's secrets to the grave, kind of a thing. I feel like people want your perspective. They want your attention. I feel like there could be a little bit of like an energy of a high priestess in you. And people feel that naturally to where they want to actually, I don't know, they want to be absolved of things. A little bit like you're a nun or a priestess again. I don't know. That's interesting. One more card, please, for pile number 1. Yeah, overcoming obstacles. Pile 1, you may have, in fact, tattoos. You may not. You know, everybody's different. You may wear a lot of like glam eye makeup. Whether you do or don't, I feel like you're very glamorous. You come across as very glamorous, very, I feel a little bit like Kat Von D, right? With the way that she wears her black clothing, and it's very buttoned up, very aesthetically pleasing. The lines are clean and clear. Anyways, aesthetically, you could have a lot to do with that. But overcoming obstacles, I feel like people just really understand or know automatically that you've had to overcome a lot. And also that you're not for the BS, okay? You are going to be on the up and up, and you're only going to lend attention to that which is important. I feel like you're not out like painting the town red and kind of doing this and that. Yeah, I feel like also, pile number 1, when people see you, they kind of want to win you no matter what. And what reinforces that is this deception, false illusion, scarcity mentality, falling into bad habits. I feel like people who come across you, you could have some scallywags actually look at you, kind of size you up and want to approach you. But knowing that at their core, they have like deceptive energy or bad motives and things like that, they think twice about it. I feel like these people just want, I heard we're more than conquerors. And that's actually somewhere in the Bible, but it's actually not the sentiment, right? So I feel like these people, Yeah, they would almost do anything to attain you if they could. If they saw like a little leeway, they would definitely take it and see if they could trick you. So I'd be aware of that. You probably know that already. An awakening, a realization, shift, or discovery. So pile number one, I feel like you could be literally someone's awakening. I feel like when people look at you, they believe that you have secrets from the other side, secrets from above, and you have answers that they really desperately need. And so they need to figure out how to crack the code in order to get into your circle so that you can help them evolve and even elevate spiritually. And pile number one, we have sacrifice. Giving up something now for future reward. So I definitely feel the energy that you have been actually sacrificial, and that's even like a cup of coffee or a cup of something, right? So that just really goes back to people looking at you, especially when you're, I think you can go down a little bit of the rabbit hole, or you get in your mind a little bit, or you can just actually kind of quote zone out when I feel like it's really meditating, and go deep within your mind and listen to your inner dialogue, or think about something and try to make heads or tails out of it. While looking at your coffee, or through your coffee, I should say. And I feel like people really understand that you've made a lot of sacrifices, but they also want to know a little bit about what sacrifices they can make to elevate, to really attain your level of spirituality. So I do feel like you're spiritually connected, and they intuitively feel that way too. Even if that's not why they are like, oh, she's like spiritual, he's spiritual, I want to draw closer to them. But I feel like it's something about you, and it's, I don't know, your resemblance of like godliness, or a little bit of like the pastor or the priest or the nun vibe, or the I can confess and tell everything to, and I will be okay vibe. Like you just have the answers. That's how people view you. Like you know things, and they want to know what you know. So that's what I have for you. If you're liking this kind of reading, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being patient with me as I was out of town, and much, much love for you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, pile number two. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot. I'm here to do your reading. Pile number two, I'm going to ring the bell in 3, 2, 1 for additional good juju. Pile number two, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen. And the theme today is, what do people assume based on your aesthetics? So the downloads I got, based solely on the image, the lady playing chess with her cat. Initially, it's funny, I thought she was playing chess with a cat, and I thought, well, maybe the cat is just looking, not sure. But I feel like people assume you're incredibly intelligent, a strategist. You're very mysterious. They assume that maybe perhaps you're a fashionista. They feel intimidated. I'm also looking at the crown that she's wearing. And I feel like you carry yourself with royalty, that when you walk in a room, you're like 10 toes down, chin up, spine squared up, shoulders up, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, I definitely feel like you walk in, I don't want to say like you own the place, but these are, keep in mind, these are just what people assume based on your aesthetic, your mannerisms, and things like that. But people do believe that you have a high self-esteem, and also that you're pretty edgy, okay? Because I was looking at her collar. I love it. Or her necklace, whatever you want to call it. I think it's super cute. But let's move on to the card, shall we? Pile number two. We have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Fool. And we have the Five of Swords. What? Okay. So once again, based on soul, just aesthetics, mannerisms, somebody who probably doesn't know you very well, I'm going to say that they think that you are very slow. I heard communicate. That's not what I meant to say. And maybe that is part of it. Maybe you're somebody who's slow to communicate. You like to kind of think about things. Part of the strategy that they perceive about you. But also that you really take your time when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to throwing in your lot with people, when it comes to, yeah, this is what I want, moving forward on anything. I feel like you always look towards the future, like how is this going to work? Is it going to gain momentum? Is it something that's going to be a quick fix maybe? Or is it something that I can really rely upon to kind of compound and multiply itself financially? So I feel like people, when they look at your aesthetics or mannerisms or a combination thereof, they really think that you, I don't want to say it's all about the money. Must be the money, but maybe it is, right? I feel like there's an energy about you that's a little bit bougie as well. I think I said that in pile number 1, even though I filmed that yesterday. Well, the King of Pentacles, this kind of reinforces that feeling or that vibe that you have within your veins, that you could be royalty, that you carry yourself like royalty. And maybe whatever it is that you are currently wearing, it could be from like, what is that store, Five and Below? Or the thrift store, it could be whatever. But whatever it is that you choose to wear, you could pair it with a nice pair of heels or a beautiful bag, or simply literally the way you carry yourself just makes that outfit look like it's incredibly expensive, right? So it's interesting to me because we have the Five of Swords right here. And you know, people assume a lot about us. I mean, I guess that's part of like mankind and trying to really survive. So when you think about it, we're designed to make quick assessments to make sure that, you know, this person is safe, that person isn't. But I have the Five of Swords right here, and I wonder if people just assume that you're a little bit cutthroat, that you're going to do whatever it takes to take care of you, or when it comes to like opportunities that you will step on next and things like that. Once again, please don't be offended. Disclaimers, disclaimers, disclaimers. It's simply what people are thinking about you. Yeah, based on aesthetics and things like that, that maybe you could be a little bit shady, a little bit underhanded, that you're going to go after whatever it is that you're going to go after, regardless of who's around, what's around, that kind of a thing. With the sword energy, it's almost a little bit of an element of, I'm going to win no matter what. I don't care what the prize is. Oh, by the way, is there a prize? Because I'm simply going to win. Now I'm looking at the Fool right here, and this tells me that people really feel like you might be a little bit of a risk taker as well. And for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm getting in my head, in my third eye, I'm seeing somebody running. So people can think that you're actually a runner, or that you like to run, like train for marathons or run at the gym and things like that. So we're going to get a little bit more energy, but this reading, we're definitely going to keep it a little bit short and sweet. Let's see. Pile number 2. This is my second channel. My first channel is called PsychicMD, where I do have over 700 videos for you to peruse. I also have a September 2024 drawing for a reading with yours truly. If you want to look at the community tab on both channels, that would be great. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, something about you really indicates, I want to say high class, also self-made, but I also feel like people think that you could be a little bit opportunistic, almost like you've just been given things, or you take things and things like that. And I don't want to turn this into like a negative reading, because I feel like a lot of times people like that are people that are simply what we call jealous. So there's something about feathers right here and a bird, and the Wheel of Fortune is about glow up. It's about ascension. It's about things working in your favor, but also what comes up must come down. Now I'm looking at the 10 right here, you know, the Roman numeral 10. And whenever I think about like the X, instead of like X marks the spot, I usually think about hex or like spells and witchcraft, things like that. So I feel like people can think that you're really witchy, that you might be a little bit like edgy, yeah, on the quote dangerous side, right? Especially if people don't know anything about that world or if they've had bad experiences and so on and so forth. Now, with this bird eating the snake, presumably, at least that's what it looks like here, I feel like it could be a little bit of a mindset of like dog eat dog. Again, reinforcing that, you know, we're going to take care of ourselves. You could be a little bit scrappy, nothing wrong with that. Or you could look like you can handle yourself. I've been told personally that somebody from work, in fact, who got to know me, said I wouldn't want to meet Grisel in a dark alley. What? But okay, all about perception. Pile number 2. What do people assume based on your aesthetics, mannerisms, and things like that? The 4 of Cups. Yeah. You know what? People are afraid to actually approach you, even, especially if it's a romantic thing or even in friendship. I feel like people get really intrigued. But also people think that you're going to be like, nah, I don't want that. That you're going to be dismissive. I heard disruptive, even though that's not even what I was going to say. So maybe people think that you could be confrontational. Pile number 2, once again, people's perceptions. What do people assume based on your aesthetics? People assume that you are bougie, that they can't afford you, that you would break their heart. People assume that people that have lost you, walked away from you, that are no longer in your life have a lot to mourn. Almost like they had the entire city rolled out at their feet when they had you or they were with you or a part of your life. But now that they're no longer part of it, that they're in deep sorrow for some reason. Okay. I'm going to pull one more card from this deck. What do people assume that you can handle yourself? I guess I'm going to pull 2. Okay. We have the 8 of Swords. Yeah. Once again, I feel like this is about people getting really trapped in their mind, that kind of a thing. But I'm also getting that people would actually go to jail for you, that they would do anything for you. This is about getting up in your head a little bit so that people get trapped in their minds over you. Yeah. And I feel like what they get trapped in their minds about is the Lover's card right here. This is about making a choice. And making a choice is not whether they want to pick you or not. It's whether you're the one who's going to allow yourself to be picked. I feel like about you, there's no pick-me energy. I feel like with you, your energy is definitely one of beauty, one of abundance. I feel like also what people think about you is that you have a great reach energetically. So basically, when you step into a room, by sheer energy, people are going to turn around and look because they're going to feel vibrationally something is different within the room. With the Lover's card, this is about making choices, having a lot of choices. And, oh yeah, I feel like people assume, again, doesn't have to be true, is that you have a lot of connections on the sly or undercover, or that you have a lot of opportunities that are not really evident at the forefront of people. And it makes people a little bit nervous. Also, I heard hide your boyfriends, hide your man. Quick, hide them, put them away. So yeah, you're definitely a threat. At least you're perceived as a threat. One last one. Yep, passion. Wow. Don't be afraid to fail. Follow what makes your heart happy. And so, yeah, this could be that they assume you have like incredible hobbies or 12:12 on the clock just now. But most of all, I feel like you could be very tempting. People think that you're very tempting, and whether this is true or not, but that their partner's going to be looking at you, that kind of a thing. and they feel threatened. They feel like it kind of knocks their confidence a bit. So that's what I have for you. Please, again, don't take it personally. If you resonate, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, namaste. Hi, pal number 3. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. In 3, 2, 1, I'm going to ring the bell for additional good juju. So what do people assume based on your aesthetics? What do they think? And even mannerisms. This is going to be people that don't really know you. Let's do your image first. So the downloads I got on the image, first of all, I got a little bit of like androgyny. It's giving very cool. It's giving vaping. It's giving a little bit of rebelliousness, like I do what I want kind of a thing. I love the fact that she's smoking a cigar. At least I think it's a cigar. I was looking at her blazer, a little bit of an 80s. So I feel like you could kind of mix pieces of clothing from different eras and things like that in order to achieve like the look that you want. Maybe wear a blazer with like literally like a bra or almost nothing, you know, to where it's kind of tantalizing. And maybe you do have a lot of ink. Obviously, I picked all 3 images that are totally inked out. I think they are very beautiful. You could be somebody who's incredibly handsome. Maybe you get a lot of ink as well. But yeah, I feel like your hair could be a little bit, it could appear like effortlessly styled. But I don't know. I think you put quite a bit of effort into it, which is interesting. So I feel like with the blazer too, it gives me a lot of like, yeah, we said 80s vibes already, but you could be somebody who is not worried at all about, you know, if this is a man's frame or a girl's frame. You don't care. You're going to wear what looks good on you and what you're vibing with. Yeah. So we have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Wands. We have the 9 of Wands. I said that like a question. And we have the 5 of Swords. What? That just came up in the same spot for the last reading. Pile number 2. If you were in between 2 piles and you can't make a decision, you might have messages in both. Pile number 3. So with the Knight of Pentacles, I did say 9 though, I definitely feel like I'm looking at this, and I feel like you're definitely somebody who is slow to move as well, very similar to the energy of pile number 2. Maybe a very great strategist. I do feel like you take your money and you reinvest it. You invest it in whatever projects you have going on. If you have a company, you reinvest and pour money back into your company, that kind of a thing. I also feel like you learn from your past. So when people look at you, you are somebody who can't be fooled. I feel like, I don't want to say like, I'm hearing like, don't hate the player, hate the game, things like that. But I don't think that that's really you. I feel like that's just a projection, an image, or just a first impression. But people feel like you are somebody who learns your lessons quickly from the past, and that you're going to kind of turn around and even observe and absorb those lessons so that you don't move forward with them in your current life in the present tense, right? Now, pile number 3 with the 7 of Wands right here, I definitely feel like you could have high boundaries. You could be somebody who might be a little bit on the defensive, and I almost heard like the buck stops here. The nonsense stops here. I'm looking at this person almost like in a suit, right? And there's a lot of clouds overhead, and it's almost like when people see you, they're like, uh-oh, watch out. I feel like they're back snapping attention. If you notice when you walk in a room, I feel like you could actually visibly see people standing a little bit in attention. You could have that vibe of like military, or I don't know, like an officer, whether they just want to, you know, be at their best, they want to stand up. It's almost like when the boss walks in and they're like, oh crap, the boss is here. I don't know why they would think that, but you have that energy, that boss energy. And with this Seven of Wands right here, yeah, this is like high regard for yourself, but also very high boundaries. And also that you stand on a very high rock. That's really funny. But traditionally in Tarot, this person is standing above all other people, and they're like trying to knock him off of his perch or her perch, right? And I feel like people want to be jockeying for your attention, but also for your position. I feel like also people can get really competitive with like, well, I could do that too. That's not so special. Or I could be that person. I feel like when you get around other people's energies, they start looking around and thinking, wow, I shouldn't have worn this. I should have taken care of that. I should have like, polished my shoes. I have one coworker who's like obsessively, polishing her chucks always. They always look like on point. And I think that's great. I've known people who take really great care about, the soles of their shoes and the whole 9 yards. And I feel like you could be somebody like that. But most of all, the impression is that people want to come for you, which is interesting because, people could see you doing well and all of a sudden they want to compete, they want to attack, or they want to compare is really what I'm getting as well. Now with the Nine of Wands, this tells me also that people think that you have been through it. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Keep in mind, this is other people's perceptions. It doesn't even have to be real, right? We're just kind of trying to get a peek and a glimpse. And I feel like people make the assessment of, oh, wow, this person has been through something. They have been through it. They have maybe had some difficulty in life. That's a little bit more of a challenge than other people. I also feel like you take your time to even speak. Like when you come in, you're comfortable with silence, and it really puts people on edge, right? I'm also getting edgy, similar to pile number 2. You could be having that energy about you. But I feel like with the Nine of Wands, this is typically my person who's, don't take this wrong again, but this person's like been beat up from the street up. And I say that, I feel like that has a lot to do, again, with your experiences. Like maybe you've had people that weren't faithful to you, or people that try to play you, or people that try to take from you, people that try to steal your spirit is what I'm hearing. And also people that try to steal your aesthetic. So I feel like when you walk in a room and you start a new job and things like that, right away on day 2, people do not make that mistake again with you. And what I mean by that is that people all of a sudden think that they have to compare and compete with you. So I don't know what kind of energy, because I feel like you're minding your own business, you're enjoying your own life, you're breathing your own air, that kind of a thing. But people think, hey, it's competition time. It's go time in 3, 2, 1. It's just kind of ridiculous. So again, with the Five of Swords, I feel like pile number 3, this is a little bit different than pile number 2. I feel like here people want to think about how they're going to get a leg up, how they're going to win at any cost, and even if there's no competition, they could be like a silent competition within their own brains, which is really weird. But that happens to me quite a bit. And I feel like with all this darkness over here, that you have no idea that people are like even trying to compete. The only clues you're going to get if it's a situation that's like new, that you walk in, again, like a job, or if you're around a certain group of friends and you're new to the group or whatever, or other people are new, is that they start dressing better, they start looking better, they start kind of trying to carry themselves like they have a lot higher self-esteem than they actually do, because they're actually looking for you as a template, as a barometer that they have to do better or be better than you, right? Which is really kind of funny. But pile number 3, what do we have for you? And pile number 3, thank you so much for being here. I haven't said that enough. We got the Wheel of Fortune again. Well, I'm not mad at it. Not mad about it. Okay, so I feel like pile number 3, what people glean from your aesthetics is that, again, a little bit of like androgyny, that you can handle yourself, that even if you're partnered or not partnered, that if they're going to tangle with you, verbally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, if they're going to engage with you, that you're going to eat it up. Basically, you're going to take it to the nth degree, and you're going to win any battle, right? So I feel like that's what that means, is that whenever you walk in a room, that you're somebody, you're the contender. You're the one to measure up against. And I don't know why we always have to be competing again, but it is what it is, I guess. Ego has a lot to do, right? And the Queen of Swords. So pile number 3, this could be male, female, it doesn't matter, even though it's a queen. But it's interesting to me because I almost feel like this bird right here is like a dove, right? And I feel like when you communicate with clarity, with precision. I heard with dogma. Now it could be, but this could be just simply people's perceptions. Almost like if you kind of come at me, I will tear you down kind of a thing. People could assume that you have that sharp tongue, that you don't mince with words, that you're blunt, that you're concise, that you suffer no fools, that you'll cut out anything that doesn't make sense, and that you're going to call people out, and that you'll do it without no blinking of the eye. You're just like, yep, that's what I see. What? That kind of a thing. Like confrontational. I feel like people assume about you that you're confrontational. Again, doesn't have to be. These are people's assumptions who don't know you well. People also assume that you could be, that's interesting, very fair. Or you could be a Libra. You could be very beautiful in your aesthetics. But something about the scales of justice. Now, for a lot of you guys, I feel like this has to do with the scales of justice pertaining to a business or social status, or that you come here and you come on business, that you're not going to play around. That if it's fair, if it's just, if it's balanced, you're going to reinforce that. And maybe people feel like you have a little bit of like the law in your blood. Maybe you come from a family, a lineage that have been like police officers or judges or lawyers or paralegals, anything like that. But if not, I feel like this also ties into the Queen of Swords right here, that you're very well spoken, that you're very well balanced, that maybe even your cadence is very monitored, very measured. And I think that even hearing you speak and things like that for the first time, people are putting attention that you're somebody who's very intelligent. You're not going to sit here and just talk for the words, just for talking or to hold an audience, but you're going to be clear, concise, and get to the point, cut through all the BS. Yeah. I feel like people get very intrigued by you. They want to be around you. They want to imitate you. They want to learn from you, and they want to know about your background. So you're fascinating. Pile number 3, that's what I have for you. Let me know what you think. Please do like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, namaste.